Just write a gratitude list. Focus on the positive. Be thankful. It could be worse. Sound familiar? We've all heard it, and maybe at some point it helped. But what if that so-called healing practice is actually a form of spiritual bypassing? What if your gratitude list is gaslighting your nervous system? Today on Tarot Logic, we're exposing the dark side of positive vibes only. And yes, we're dragging gratitude culture. Hi, I'm Paul, and this is Tarot Logic, an analytical approach to intuitive reading. Let's talk about gratitude lists and how they might be keeping you stuck. Now, let me be clear. Gratitude isn't bad. It's beautiful, powerful, even necessary for long-term transformation. But weaponized gratitude that's used to suppress pain, silence anger, or avoid action, that's not healing. That's gaslighting. That's shadow repression wrapped in a sunshine sticker. And tarot doesn't play that game. Let's break it down. We live in a culture obsessed with good vibes, especially in spiritual spaces. You're told to raise your vibration, focus on abundance, shift your mindset, make a gratitude list every morning, and sure, sometimes that's helpful. But here's the problem. Gratitude has become a tool to silence valid emotional experience. Feeling angry? Just be grateful you have food. Feeling sad? Well, at least you're not homeless. Feeling stuck? Think of all the people who have it worse. That's not spirituality. That's emotional gaslighting. And it teaches you to feel guilty for your pain and to mistake repression for maturity. Open your tarot deck. What do you see? The Five of Cups doesn't say, be grateful for what's left. It says, grieve what was lost. The Tower doesn't care how thankful you are. It's coming down anyway. The Nine of Swords? That's not a call to write affirmations. It's an invitation to sit with your sleepless nights and name what hurts. Tarot never demands that you override your truth for the sake of appearances. That's the real medicine. Facing reality as it is, not as you wish it were. If your gratitude list is helping you avoid the moon, deny the hanged man, or sugarcoat death, then it's no longer spiritual. It's a survival mode fantasy. Here's where it gets sneaky. Many of us use gratitude not just to feel better, but to stay in control. We think, if I can just focus on what I have, maybe nothing worse will happen. If I'm grateful enough, maybe I won't lose it. If I appreciate this toxic situation, maybe it'll transform. That's not spiritual growth. That's bargaining. It's the same psychological mechanism as Stockholm Syndrome, convincing yourself to love what's hurting you because you feel powerless to change it. Gratitude becomes a defense against reality, a shield that keeps you from making the real moves toward change. And it sounds noble. It sounds evolved. But it's just fear in disguise. What's the alternative? Real gratitude versus forced gratitude. There's a difference between forced gratitude and emergent gratitude. Forced gratitude says you should feel lucky. Emergent gratitude says, I feel moved by this truth even in my pain. One is imposed. The other arises from integration. Real gratitude shows up after you've faced the darkness, not instead of facing it. You don't skip the grief and jump to thankfulness. You live through the grief, and gratitude becomes the byproduct. Tarot teaches this beautifully. You can't reach the star unless you've survived the tower. You don't become the world without walking through judgment. That's the order of operations. Let's talk nervous system. If you've experienced trauma, emotional neglect, spiritual abuse, poverty, instability, you may have learned to survive by being overly thankful. You downplay your needs. You normalize dysfunction. You smile and say, I'm fine, when you're falling apart. Why? Because complaining feels unsafe. Because expressing needs got you punished. So you trained your body to default to gratitude, to protect yourself. It wasn't healing, it was coping. And now, every gratitude list just reinforces the same survival loop. That's not healing, that's self-erasure. What if we used tarot to flip the script? Instead of forcing gratitude, we discover it through truth. Try this spread. What pain am I pretending to be grateful for? What emotion have I silenced in the name of positivity? What truth wants to be witnessed without spin? What deeper gratitude might emerge from full honesty? How can I hold both truth and tenderness? This 5-card spread invites nuance. It opens space for complexity. It makes room for both rage and reverence. Because that's what real spiritual maturity looks like. Not forced light, but integrated shadow. If your gratitude practice is feeling hollow or worse, oppressive, try this instead. Write a truth list. Name what hurts, what's missing, what you're afraid to admit. Start a permission journal. Give yourself permission to feel everything. Pull the ugly cards. Don't skip them. Let the devil speak. Let the 5 of Pentacles breathe. Grieve aloud. Say the hard things out loud, even if it's just to yourself. Let gratitude follow honesty, not replace it. When you give yourself space to fully feel, gratitude becomes authentic, not obligatory. Gratitude isn't the villain. It's just been used as a weapon. Used to silence, to pacify, to manipulate. But the truth, you are allowed to hurt, to rage, to want more, to question what you're told to be thankful for. And the more honest you become, the more your gratitude will be rooted in something real. Not in denial, not in fear, but in a soul that has walked through fire and still sees beauty. Not because it had to, but because it chose to. Until next time, read with clarity, and don't let light blind you to the truth.